Jack Melville painted focused on photorealism, which is a technique based on large portraits drawn from photographs, exhibited his work at the Harbour Tower located at Bahrain Financial Harbour, West Tower, with presence of British ambassador and VIP to support the event. The exhibition is open for the coming 2 months. Jack talents are not restricted to portraits of the revered and famous, and he's equally happy drawing or painting just about anything from the comfort of his barge-based studio in the heart of the Essex countryside. This includes commissions. As a boy of 7 attempting to put paint on paper, he was desperate to convey his appreciation of the world around him, and is still the same today. His brushes have now evolved from the matchsticks that he chewed in a little brush-like ends, but that the same childlike excitement still makes him shiver when producing a compelling image.
This particular event is not going to be an annual one, in the sense that Jack Melville, this lovely artist, we can't promise that he will be here every year, but he's enjoying Bahrain so much he's promised he will come back. But this is going to be a continuous thing. One of the great things about our 200th anniversary is that it's an opportunity for us to try new things, and the things that work we will continue. So the financial towers have already had a number of British artists here, and they give them the space, and the artists can sell their works if they want to, and of course it brings people into the building to enjoy and appreciate it. And so we think there will be lots more like this, and indeed, having had the success that they've had already, it encourages the Financial Harbour to go off and seek more, we hope, British artists to come and display here. And I would certainly recommend it. Oh, and by the way, these are for sale apparently, and when he's sold them, he's got some more to replace them with. So if you come back after a month, you'll find completely different pictures here. I'm looking forward to it. The art speaks for itself. We can make sure that people get to know about it. So thank you very much for taking the trouble to come and showcase it. What we can then do is maybe do a variation on the theme to see perhaps whether we can bring some different artists in to enjoy it. I was at the University College Bahrain earlier today at the start of their degree show with the most wonderful Bahraini artists, particularly graphic designers, who had been on a trip to the London Design Show and had also been to Glasgow and Edinburgh, and had come back with the most amazing inspiration which they put into their degree show. And I saw these artists and I thought, this is the next generation of British Bahraini collaboration, and I would love to see some of their work down here as well. And actually, now you've mentioned it to me, I'll ask Angus to get in touch with UCB, because I think that would be a really good thing for us to see down here. The best thing we can do is make the most of our 200th anniversary year. It doesn't all have to happen this year, but it gives us a really good opportunity to focus on all the many things that are going on between us. And of course you expect high-level visits, business, defence and so on. But actually what an event like this shows is that there is so much more to it. And the point I made a little bit earlier on, that actually most countries in the world, let alone necessarily in this region, you wouldn't find many people who recognize many of the images that Jack Melville has produced. But because we understand each other so well, so many Bahrainis have lived in Britain, studied in Britain, know a bit about British culture and popular culture, I think quite a lot of these images will be really fun and attractive to our Bahraini hosts. So we've got a wonderful base of our relationship, and we're just looking to see how we can build and grow it. And the more that happens in an organic way, for example, with companies like Financial Harbour and artists like Jack Melville, the more sustainable it becomes, which is great. Come on down to the Financial Harbour and see some of these things before they go. I think they're great.
I'm happy to be here. This is one of the events of 90 other events we have already done this year. We're all doing this for a instruction and a blessing of His Majesty the King of our country, King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. We are trying to show Bahrain that we have a very special relation with our friends from the UK. The relation is a very long one. It's over now 200 years. And we are proud of this kind of relation. I'm in charge of Bahrain-UK relation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I'm here also because they have asked, we were asked to create a committee. And we have a committee between Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the embassy, and our friends from the Royal Court, together with also our BBBF people. We sit together in meetings to prepare these events. Our young people are working very hard in putting them together. And sometimes I have only to sign, but it's at least they come to me when they have a vision. And I'm so really happy that I'm here with this artist who really is trying to show us a little bit of, remind us of this relation between the UK and Bahrain.
Well, we are delighted. This is the fourth in a series of Art at the Harbour events. The idea behind this was to give artists an opportunity to display their art and to really engage with not just our tenants but people in the community who might come and enjoy, and this become a focal point for people to meet. And ideally we want this to be a regular occurrence so people will think, oh, I wonder what art's on at the harbour. So far so good. The only issue that we have is that the standard of art keeps going up, and it's going to be really difficult to keep increasing that standard. So we're delighted so far, and we've had some very positive reaction from not only the artists but also from the tenants and people coming to see the art. So yeah, it's been really fun, really good. We don't have any, so apart from this one, which is just launching today, which is going to be here for 2 months, we have another artist in the East Tower who was here previously, and they're going to be there also for, and a very, very different kind of art, more Arabic, more, Falcons and local people, and so really different but really good as well. Yeah, we're in discussion with a number of local artists, so we're trying to attract as many different artists as possible, not just artists but photography, all kinds of art forms. Really, we want to give people a reason to come here, and we have some great space, and we want people to use it. Community groups, clubs, associations, schools, you name it. We want people to think that this is a place that they can use and really enjoy the space. That's the idea, that's the whole point.
I think I've always been an artist. From the early age I could draw. From about 4 or 5 I was basically picking up a pencil and just copying cartoons that I saw in cartoon comic books. So it was more of a sort of very basic drawing, but and what I used to do was invite all my friends round for a drawing competition. But what I'd do is I'd actually copy and recopy so that I knew the cartoon off by heart, so that I would actually beat my friends in a competition. But so I'm quite competitive in that way. I started when I was about 4 or 5, from my recollection, but continued through school, and I always was in the top 2 in the art department. Well, mainly what I've been doing is graphite pencil work, mainly 6B, which is a weight of pencil that I really like, because you can get really hard, dark tone to it, and also if you just use it very lightly, it's very soft and gentle. So the tonal quality out of a 6B or 7B is immense. So a range of 2H, 2B, up to 6B is sort of all I use, those sort of 3 sectors. My biggest influence, I think, is probably My grandparents, when I first began, they were encouraging me to draw. They sent me to a commercial artist who lived locally, but because they were very poor, they couldn't afford me to go to art lessons. But this commercial artist was very good. He saw something in my work and basically gave my tuition for free. Every Wednesday night I'd go and have a lesson for 1 hour for about 3 or 4 years, and that was where, having not been self-taught, but before that I was just basically doing things that came naturally. But he taught me how to actually sort of use a pencil, use a paintbrush, use oils. So it was quite instructive in that respect. My parents were, all my family were miners, which basically working down the coal mine all their lives from the age of 12 to 65. They were working in the dark. So basically they worked 12 hours a day underground, and when they came up it was pitch black. So they had no artistic bent at all, really. I broke the mould when I left home. I told my father I wanted to be an artist, and he looked at me blankly, thinking that's not a manly occupation at all. But I've proved him wrong, really. I think I've been really lucky. I went through school and had a good education. Went to college and got a degree. Then I started working at one of the top advertising agencies in London, which basically was Saatchi & Saatchi. Spent many years in the advertising business, so I've always worked in a creative environment, and I think the career path and the stepping stones have always been sort of very lucky. The only fortunate thing that happened was when I was diagnosed with cancer, prostate cancer, and when you're working in a commercial environment, you don't tend to sort of have time to draw. But when you have something that really slows you down, you have to have something which I thought, well, I'll try drawing when I'm recuperating. So I spent 6 months just basically getting better after an operation, and I started drawing. And my wife said, although she's known me for many years, said, I didn't realise you could draw. So that was very strange, but other people came to me and said, you can draw really well. Could you draw me this? Could I commission that? So it sort of escalated and snowballed. And having got over that obstacle, I decided then what I wouldn't do is go back into advertising. What I would do is create art for myself and for other people, and take it on more professionally. And that was basically 4 years ago. So I've come to the sort of art platform a bit late in life, later than I'd have thought, but you know, such is life. Mainly in London, when, as I say, my friends found out I could draw, and they got behind me. There was quite a few cheerleaders I had at the time. The support that they gave me and encouragement was intense, and they owned galleries. They knew people who owned galleries, so basically they put me in touch with these people. One of which is the West Bank Gallery in London, which I exhibited at. The WOA, Work of Art Gallery, which is in Essex. Quite big galleries in the areas, and people were drawn, and a couple of dealers from different parts of the world came. And then I went to Paris and Ibiza. I was asked to do an exhibition in Ibiza, which is one of the biggest resorts and hotels there, where a lot of people congregate, a lot of artists. I wanted to go for a week. I've stayed for 16 months, and I'm still exhibiting there. Every week there's a little exhibit goes up. I learned from my career. I suppose with having a commercial background, I know there's a deadline, but what I've actually taken from that is the art. You cannot rush it. It's basically it comes slowly. It comes out of yourself, and you can deliver a drawing, but it's not like a commercial sort of respect. It's not. You has to be there on Thursday at 6 o'clock. It's basically I can be relaxed and draw something which I enjoy, and then when it's finished, it's finished. It could be next Thursday or it could be next month, and that really sort of gives me immense pleasure, because there's no stress on levels on that, and it can just come out. So I've learned just to relax, and as I say, after diagnosis of that sort, you do have to sort of take time out and do what you want to do. So I do what I love. I left university and went to work at Saatchi & Saatchi, very junior art director, teamed up with a guy called David Jeffrey. We worked together for many years, creating big advertising concepts. Enjoyed all of that experience, moved around in different agencies in London, and created some award-winning advertising, probably the best one being the Cannes Gold Lion in